Hi my friends, today we're going to talk about the distributive property. Now it's just a big word, but when you think of it, when you say distribute, that means you share things, like you give it away. So this one, distributive property. So what this is saying is that if you have a problem like 6 times 13, now that's really hard, like just to do in our head. So what we're saying is that we can break this number into a smaller number. So we still have 6 times, and then we use these that are called parentheses. Actually, let me do these in red. And I can think of something that is easier for me to multiply. So when I think of 13, I can think of 10 plus 3. So 10 plus 3 is the same as 13. Now, in my head, I can see that I have 6 times 10. So 6 times 10, we're going to put this 6 times our 10. Then we have our plus sign. And then we do our 6 times the 3. So we're distributing the 6's. And don't worry, we're going to practice this. Is also 6 times 3. So I know that 6 times 10 is 60, plus, and I know 6 times 3 is 18. So then I can add them a little bit better, easier. So 6 tens plus 1 10 is 7 tens, 0 plus 8 is 8. So our answer is 78. So these two ways, and I know that was really confusing, but I promise we'll practice it so it makes sense. So the distributive property means that we are going to give this first number to everything that's inside those parentheses. So everything that's inside of those parentheses. So let's look at a different one. So let's do 5 times 28. Okay, so let's first break it into parts so we can distribute. So we're going to distribute this first part. We're going to distribute the 5. So the 5 goes on the outside. So 5 times. And then we're going to write our parentheses, and it's going to be numbers that we add together. So we're going to break apart 28. So the easiest way that I think to break it up is by our tens and our ones. You can break it up any way you want, but for me it's easier with our tens and our ones. So I have 20. And then I have 8. So I'm actually using my expanded form in here. So now that I have that, now I'm going to distribute. I'm going to do 5 times 20 and 5 times 8. And then I'm going to go ahead and write that down here. So I'm going to have 5 times 20. That's going to be inside my parentheses. Then I've got to bring down my plus sign. Distribute my 5 over here, 5 times 8. So the tricks that I've learned, 5 times 2 is 10, add my 0, so that's 100, plus 5 times 8 is 40, and 100 plus 40 is 140. We use this property and this trick when we get numbers that are really big and we want to break them down to make it a little bit easier to multiply. This distribute property is something that you're going to be using a lot, so we need to make sure that we understand that if we have it on the outside, the multiplying on the outside, that means we multiply each of those numbers on the inside, and we also need to make sure that we bring down that plus sign. So let's go ahead and we're going to practice a few more together before we try it, before we do it in class. So let's do another problem. So let's do, let's go ahead and do 3 times 15. Okay, so this part on the outside, the 3 times, like 3 groups, is what we're going to put on the outside of our distributive property. Oops, not a 5, a 3. Okay, then I do my parentheses, and I'm going to put my expanded form in the middle. So 15 expanded form would be 10 plus 5. That's my expanded form. Now I have my distribute property. So I'm going to bring those 3's right out here. And this is another one of the ways that we can do multiplication with the bigger numbers. I'm going to teach you quite a few ways, and you have to pick the way that you like best. So now we do our first distribute, which is 3 times 10. Don't forget those parentheses. Don't forget our plus sign. And then plus 3 times 5. All right, 3 times 10 is 30. Plus 3 times 5 is 15. Add them together, and it's 45. All right, I'm going to go ahead and box this up in green so you know that 28 is right here. That 13 went here, and the 15 goes inside there. All right, so let's do another one. We've got 5 times 14. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and box this up so I know where they go. The 5 is on the outside. I have my parentheses, my plus. All right, 14 is going to be 10 plus 4. Remember our expanded form. We're going to distribute. 5 is going to times 10, and 5 is going to times 4. So we have 5 times 10, parentheses, plus, don't forget that plus, and now we distribute 5 times 4, more parentheses, and what you're saying inside the parentheses you're going to do first. So anything inside that parentheses you want to do first right here. So 5 times 10 is 50, plus 5 times 4 is 20, and 50 plus 20 is 70. So we are going to be practicing this distributive property with expanded form over the next couple of days. And today we're just doing 2-digit numbers. We're going to be able to do it with 3-digit numbers and 4-digit numbers. I'm going to, as long as you remember, you need to remember your expanded form. Whoops. Expanded form. You're going to really need to be remembering, practicing those, and you might also want your multiplication chart. And what we've done is we have used some of the things we've already learned, and we're putting them all into one thing. So we've already learned expanded form. We learned the trick of boxing it up and then just adding the 0 here, and then just regular multiplication. And we're using it to try to learn how to quickly and easily multiply bigger numbers.